Hello, everyone. I am at the Alienware training facility, newly revamped. What are you guys calling it, Steve? Is it like the new? Is this like the HD edition? What?
The evolution.
The evolution.
The evolution. It's like Pokemon. You know, it's like we've evolved.
Okay, so this is the second gen Alienware training facility in LA. I'm joined right now by Steve to talk a little bit about this, and hopefully, we were just talking about this. I could not find a videographer available this morning. I don't know why. So hopefully, this is okay because I'm recording it myself. But anyway. So what?
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. I will talk a bit about playoffs and all that stuff. I do want to talk about that, but let's start a little bit on the facility. So what made you guys decide to kind of like revamp or evolve the facility over the past year or so?
Yeah. I mean, we were the first to build an Alienware training facility, but also just a facility for players to train out of. And I think that was born out of the need, since we had teams and players living in the house together and literally going nuts, like mental health, exhaustion, fatigue, like being overwhelmed, all that kind of stuff. And so we saw a lot of benefits, and then we won 4 championships. But during the pandemic, when we shut down the facility, we actually went through a lot of growth as a company. And I know a lot of folks think of us as like just Team Liquid, but we're really Team Liquid Enterprises. We have multiple lines and verticals of our business that are doing really well. Revenue growth, a lot of different aspects that are just outside of esports a little bit. And so we hired a lot of people. And we hire a lot of people in LA. And so we kept thinking to ourselves, okay, the office is going to open up because COVID's over. Like, we're all going back to work. And then, so we're like, well, there's just no space. Yeah. We're out of space. We only had 7,000 square feet. And then serendipitously, what's her name?
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
She has a production company.
Yes.
And she sold it for $1 billion, by the way.
Okay.
And so once they sold their company, they moved out, and that took over the space, and all we had to do is knock down a wall. And so we were like, this is perfect. We'll just take the extra like 6,000, 7,000 square feet.
Are you, whenever you guys are going out to raise, being like, well, Reese Witherspoon had the space and she sold it for $1 billion, so we think that might have increased the valuation of our company.
We did all kinds of witchcraft and ceremonial stuff. So yeah, we're pulling in those vibes. No, I mean, for real though, like the area that the players were training and were doing review out of was kind of small.
Yeah.
And it wasn't exactly set up in the same way that they do at the LCS stage. So we wanted to just like provide a better experience for the players to train and work out of. And if you haven't had a chance, but like the setup that's in there is just, it's nuts. Cool. I mean, it's like absolutely crazy. It's just beautiful. It is thoughtful to what all the players need. And so, yeah, like, you know, in TL tried and true fashion, we're going to do everything that we can to improve our competitiveness.
Yeah. Has it been one of the funny things was you guys were the first to create the training facility, and then a bunch of other people started doing it, and then you started to see like Nadeshot and being like, this is our bajillion-dollar Cash App facility, and TSM's for some reason multiple times kept increasing the cost of their thing. I think they quoted initially it was 35 million, then it became 50 million. They kept going up and up. So I don't were you looking at any of that stuff and you're like, okay, we really need to up the ante a little bit? Because it feels like at a certain point in time it becomes like a measuring contest, right?
No, that actually never crossed my mind until you just said it. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. I think we just had our business needs and we outgrew them. Like, it wasn't about what the public thinks or, you know, some sort of message or narrative. It was just about the business needs. I mean, literally the number of people that work out of this office that need to park, that need to come in and collaborate with other people, and if there's not enough room. So we were actually thinking, before we actually expanded the facility, we were like, oh, we're going to do a rotation schedule and like have people come in at certain times during the week, and then people use shared desks and all this kind of stuff. And they said, no, we just need to do it the right way and expand. And Alienware was really accommodating. Plus we had the players' needs, you know, we needed a separate area for them to hang out that wasn't so congested with the main area of the office.
Okay, cool. Were there any major goals that you guys had going into recreating this? Or, I mean, it sounds like one of them was definitely to make sure that the players have their own section of the building. But I don't know if there was anything else that you guys were really aspiring for as you built this out.
So content creation. right? So a lot of esports teams and organizations have ventured into content creators and kind of influencer lifestyle whatevers. And so we have done something similar, but definitely not on the scale as some of the other teams. And so that's why we have the Verizon streaming pods where you can see where it's like a whole creator setup. It's soundproof. It's just, and so HBox has been in there, and I'm glad that it's soundproof because HBox, I mean, I love HBox, but like when he screams and he goes nuts. And so it's good. Nice to have that area that he can create his content and stream. And it's kind of nice. You know, we have a lot of our creators that will just be coming through LA for various reasons, and a place for them to stream that has really good, reliable connection. You know, we're going to do it. So that was another thing. Plus, less interesting for the folks who are watching this video, but you know, we have our other business verticals and space dedicated for that. So now we have an apparel area where all of our apparel is hung out beautifully and all of our different drops. And you know, we just expanded that into Brazil and Europe and reduced the shipping prices for a lot of folks that want to buy TL stuff. And that was a big deal. I didn't realize how complicated that was until we got into it. It's like, you know, the poor folks in Brazil paying like $60 for a t-shirt that's like 25.
Logistics are complicated. It's a fascinating aspect of business. But okay, so you guys have the new facility. I was just talking to Bjergsen before this. We did a quick interview before Kyoto dragged him away in the middle of it. But it seems pretty cool too, because the players went from having to practice kind of out of their apartments during COVID, and also as this was getting rebuilt, and now they've got all this. So I'm sure it's also been really nice for you guys to have, especially as we get into more serious moments of the season, the team being able to practice out of here.
I mean, I'm probably understating because I didn't live through it, but I know the players are over the moon, enthralled about coming back to the facility. I mean, the poor guys were like shoved into a living room at the apartments next door. And, you know, that's not conducive to having the right mindset and clarity and being comfortable. It's a mess. It's like we rewound and they had to play the entire first split in that type of environment. And so, you know, it was tough getting some of the construction done during COVID. Like it was harder to book all the contractors that we needed to get it done in the time frame that we needed. But we pulled through, and you know, does spring really matter? No, I'm just kidding. So, you know, like summer matters.
A former ADC of yours would share that sentiment, I think.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, we're in the time that matters, and they're using it. Yeah.
So well, a good time in the conversation then to pivot to playoffs. It's fascinating because I feel like for a lot of teams, you know, if they finish third, really close to first and second, in terms of the standings, people would be like overjoyed. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, this has been great." But it's ironic because on the other hand, with Team Liquid finishing third, I feel like for a lot of fans and even like from talking to the players a little bit, feels almost a bit like a failure. So I'm kind of curious where your mindset is at on the team's performance over summer split.
Yes. It has been inconsistent and not as good as we all had hoped. And yes, finishing on anything but first is a failure. And that is the, I guess, result of how much we've invested into this roster and trying to build the best team that has ever been created in North America. And I'd rather take heat on finishing anything but first place by trying to win and trying to build an organization or a team that will do well at Worlds and win a few more championships. You know, I'm going to take that risk.
Yeah.
Like, let's go, you know, like, let's win, let's build, let's do something for North America and LCS. Like, let's go. I know, you know, it's easier to check the box. It's easier to give up. It's easier to cave into the pressure. And that's not us. That's not how we operate. You know, we pursue excellence. It's right there on the wall.
I don't know if it shows up, but yes, it is right there on the wall. It's a nice little convenient moment.
Just in case you forget our values.
Yes.
They're right there.
Yes. Okay, so there was also a moment, I know Mark was kind of memeing about this too, where as CLG and C9 were making a surge, you were even in danger of going back to fourth place, which is a place that you know very well in the back in the archives and history of Team Liquid and Curse.
Yeah.
Was that ever a panic moment for you? You're just like, okay, not fourth, not fourth, not fourth.
You know, it was kind of interesting. It was like we were sitting in fourth.
Careful with, Mike.
Yeah, no, we were sitting in fourth, and I was like, oh my gosh. It actually occurred to me. I was like, the dreaded fourth. But then I realized that we hadn't lost a game for 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but it's the 5th game that matters.
Okay.
So we ended up winning the 5th game.
Yes.
After we lost 4 in a row.
You're getting out of the 4.
We're getting out of the 4.
Yes.
And, I think, that spell, I don't think it has a hold on us anymore.
Yeah. I feel like there's been a lot of community conversation about the way I've been kind of describing it is like the team building meta, where for a long time TL retained dominance by being able to do a lot of like, hey, we're going to bring the best names, the biggest names and all that to the team and to build out these rosters. And so we're going to sign like the double ifs and the core JJs and all that stuff. Recently, there's been a shift where you've seen 100 Thieves find success by bringing in that like Golden Guardians roster and pairing them up with Someday and Abadage. You've seen EG find success by mixing noted TL alumni Impact with like the Danny and JoJo's of the world. So I don't know what your thoughts are on like the shift a little bit in terms of how people are building these high ranking rosters versus kind of the meta that we saw for a while among team owners, yourself, maybe C9 with perks and all that stuff included.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's incredible to see some of those organizations drive success by having a mix of experienced players and rookies. I think that's always been a desired state within the league. And I'm proud of the fact that they've been able to do well. I think it's healthy for the league. I think it's healthy for new players that want to play in LCS to dream and see a clearer line of sight into actually competing and not thinking it's some sort of relationship or brand contest in order to get into the LCS. I think that dream of becoming a pro player, keeping it alive is really, really important. And there's nothing, the complete admiration for what they're doing there. When we put together our roster this year, we deliberately said, this year's really important. We are going to invest in what will hopefully be a consistent and predictable win. And in order to do that, that means you rely more on less volatility or inconsistency and more doubling down on experienced players. And that's what we've done in the past. And that's what we did this year. And I think we did a pretty damn good job of building a roster. I think going into the lock-in split, we crushed it. We finished first. I think all the sentiment from the community around the roster that we built was, oh, they're just going to steamroll through the entire LCS. There's not going to be, So, yeah, I think our roles as kind of general managers for building a team, we freaking killed it.
Yeah.
Now, are we delivering against that? No. But, the important one here for summer is coming up, and we got 2 best of 5s ahead of us. So, excited to go through FlyQuest and then play whomever.
Yeah. You said this year's really important. Is that mostly for Worlds, or what led you to feel like this is a year where you had to make sure you guys were delivering on results?
Couple things. Number one, I think we created a legacy in League of Legends that was pretty incredible. Just the back-to-back championships. I mean, that's awesome to have like a meme like that's like that.
Yes.
This is cool. So that's number one. Number two, a legacy means that it just isn't a stint. Right? That you're able to repeat success given methodologies or practices that you're employing when you are working with the team. So winning some more championships after we missed winning the year after all the back-to-back
Yes.
was important. So that's number one. Number two, Worlds is in North America. It's the first time it's been in North America for a long time. And when we found out that Riot was going to like go all in and do Madison Square Gardens and at the time Canada and Mexico City and San Francisco, it's like, oh, they're going ham. Like they're spending some money. Like this is not a small investment. It takes dollars to put together big stadiums, big broadcasts, and my guess is that they're doing that to also stimulate the North American player base, right?
Yeah.
To get people come play the game again that haven't played in a while, maybe new players to play the game. This is a marketing opportunity for them. So if they're making a big investment, then we should make one too, because there's going to be ways of recouping against some of that through revenue through the year. And I think we've done a fantastic job of that too. So, and tried into true fashion, TL, we just make bigger bets than most teams, and that's okay. It's just like poker. You just play bigger stakes or smaller stakes.
Yeah.
We're just playing bigger stakes.
Yeah. Going into playoffs, I don't know how much communication you are in with like the coaches and general managers and et cetera, but anything in particular you guys are looking to work on so that you can get the results that you want out of playoffs?
Well, the answer is absolutely. I just don't know how much I can really share because it's so nuanced and part of like the day-to-day operations. But I will tell you that we have focused up. We have looked at our band pick process. We have looked at who's running that, who's involved in it, who's contributing to it, what decisions are made in scrims, what decisions are made on stage. We've thought about roles and responsibilities for each of the coaches and analysts and respective members to make sure that they're more delineated, and that focus brings higher kind of technical expertise in their genre or field and contribution to the team. And we've done a lot on the sports psychology front as well. So Bowen, who has been working with the team, he there's a lot of these kind of like mental coaches that are, snake oil salesmen essentially, or people. And it's like, it's not that. It's real legit, went and got their doctorate and and so they're working with the team, and we have a psychiatrist as well, and that's been really helpful in terms of just consistency and mindset. So we made investments there, and this is a really good team.
Yeah,
they've just been inconsistent, but their potential is very high.
Yes.
Very high. Like we were scrimming in Korea, and at the time I was like, we're gonna win worlds. We're just gonna win worlds. like we're playing against all these teams and we're doing really well.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember going to Korea and doing well.
Sure.
This is the first time. I'm like getting all kind of antsy and excited, and then we win the lock-in tournament. We're smashing through, and scrims are going so
Yeah.
It's like, gosh, we have so much potential. Like, how do we just unlock? I don't think it's a drastic change.
Yeah.
I think it's like the small stuff that
just
matters.
a little bit, and you guys will suddenly be crushing all the games. I guess.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's on the wall behind you. It says 1 p.m. meeting, and it's 12:59. So I think somebody's going to use this conference room soon. So I guess that means we should wrap it up. But Is there anything that you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate each and every one of you that's supporting the team and organization. I've been hearing a lot of the TL chants at LCS, which is awesome. I think I haven't heard TSM chant in a long time, and if I have, it's been like Apex Legends or something.
CLG chants are starting to make their way back.
Oh, they are?
Yes, because they've been doing well. So
that's good.
Yeah. It's funny. It does feel like old school times a little bit.
It feels nice. It actually it makes the hair on my arm stand up when you hear the TL chants and stuff, and the love and all the comments and replies, and Discord mess. Our Discord is popping off. You should see the watch party in our Discord while the matches are going on. It's like you can't even follow it. It's scrolling so fast with messages. It's cool. And so just appreciate your love for the team and what we're trying to do here. So we're going to do our best here as we go through playoffs and make you proud.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the interview. Looking forward to seeing how you guys do in playoffs. And thanks for inviting me to check out the Alienware training facility, Evolved Pokemon Generation 2. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things LCS right here on my YouTube channel. Hey, thank you so much for watching that interview. I know normally I make some stupid joke here and it doesn't make sense, and you're like, well, that's why you're sticking around. This time I have something different for you. I have, for the first time in my relationship with Alienware, which transcends all this time, all the way back to the end of 2018, a situation where we're doing something different with the partnership. Now, if you purchase something through the link that is in this description, I will actually have a cut of it go towards Travis Gafford Industries, TGI. So it's a very different type of thing where I know some of you guys tried to use that link before. You've tried to use the promo codes. Please make sure that you use the link now, because that will actually really help. And so that's the first time we've done something like that. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit that link if you're going to buy an Alienware product, and just know that some of that will come back to TGI if you do.